Have you ever felt your heart flutter just because of a brief glance, a small smile, or a simple moment that should have seemed ordinary? Is this real, or are our hearts simply too easily touched? Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Moments. So, if you've ever wondered why Jikook's simplest moments always feel different, let's talk about it all, slowly, heart to heart. The Season 2 Episode 7 trailer has finally been officially released, and from the very first second it appeared, it felt almost impossible to stay calm. Not because of over-the-top scenes, nor because of loud, dramatic tension, but precisely because of the small things that feel so real. Close. As if, without us realizing it, this episode promises to touch something very deep in the viewers' hearts. Just imagine a simple dining table. Two people sitting side by side. The atmosphere slowly turns intimate. They eat together, unhurried, away from any crowd. Just light conversation, smiles that appear effortlessly, and glances that occasionally meet. A dining scene that might look ordinary to some people feels different here. There is a comfort that's hard to put into words. The food for two in this episode surely feels very delicious, not only because of what's on the plate, but because of the moment created between them. There is a silence that isn't awkward, soft and sincere laughter, and the feeling that togetherness itself is already more than enough. The clip then moves on to a scene of them shopping together. At a glance, it's simple, walking side by side, browsing clothing racks. But once again, small details steal the spotlight. Black and white. From their choices to the clothes they end up buying in matching tones, they look like two different sides that perfectly complement each other. A black and white duo that feels harmonious without trying. As if the colors aren't just a fashion choice, but a reflection of their dynamic, contrasting, yet balanced. There's something calming about the way they move together. No rushing. No pretense. Two people genuinely enjoying their time, choosing items casually, waiting for each other without needing to be asked. In the middle of that simplicity comes a small, deeply human moment. A kind clothing vendor, smiling warmly, offering them a discount. Not because of who they are, but because the atmosphere itself feels good. There's a small happiness there, light laughter, words of thanks, and a warmth that may last only a moment, yet lingers for a long time. Moments like these remind us that happiness often comes in its simplest form. This trailer also promises plenty of laughter. Jimin, with his signature expressions, once again becomes a source of joy. The way he reacts, jokes around, and acts spontaneously always brings life to the atmosphere. There's a cheerful energy that naturally flows from him. On the other side, Jungkook, in his own way, becomes the most devoted audience. His attentive gaze, the small smile that appears unconsciously, and reactions that seem to say he's enjoying every second of that togetherness. Their interaction feels natural, like two people who are deeply accustomed to sharing the same space. The laughter in this episode doesn't feel forced. It's born from comfort, from mutual understanding, from the safety of being oneself without fear of judgment. That's what makes it feel so close to the viewers. We're not just watching them laugh. We smile along, and maybe even feel relieved with them. And of course, there's one detail that always makes hearts race, the moment they feed each other during the meal. Jimin feeding Jungkook. A small, brief gesture that might seem trivial if you blink and miss it. But for those who notice, this moment always carries deeper meaning. There's trust there. There is intimacy that doesn't need words. A simple movement that feels personal, gentle, and somehow always steals the spotlight. This trailer doesn't promise major conflict or dramatic surprises. Quite the opposite, it offers warmth. Fragments of life that feel real, eating together, shopping, laughing, sharing food. Everything looks ordinary, yet arranged in a way that makes it extraordinary. Season 2 Episode 7 seems to say that the stories that stay with us the longest don't always have to be grand. Sometimes, togetherness is enough. Small moments shared with the right person. Glances, laughter, and quiet attention that don't need to be announced. In short, this episode is predicted to be a complete package, sweet without being excessive, funny without being forced, and warm in a way that lingers long after it ends. This trailer doesn't just excite fans, It prepares many hearts, ready to smile, ready to laugh, and perhaps without realizing it, ready to fall in love again with the small, simple things that carry deep meaning. And now, let's take a brief look back, remembering yesterday's BTS live that felt so warm, so alive, and somehow so personal. Amid the members' carefree laughter, light-hearted banter, and the always miss-together OT7 energy, there was one small corner that seemed to have its own world. Even though they weren't sitting close together, Jikook still found their space. And there they were. Without many words, without excessive spotlight, as if sinking into a world only they understood. There was something different about the way Jungkook looked at Jimin then. Not just a groupmate's glance, nor a spontaneous reaction during a broadcast. That look was soft, attentive, as if checking on one important thing. That Jimin was okay, that the smile was real. And Jimin, as always, showed up with his signature cheerfulness. His sincere small laughter, expressions that felt more alive when he was around Jungkook. As if in front of him, Jimin didn't need to hold anything back. He was free to be himself. These are the small moments that often go unnoticed, yet are felt the deepest. The way Jungkook occasionally glances at Jimin between conversations, the sparkle in his eyes that appears unconsciously, the slight lean of his body, as if drawn by an invisible gravity. And Jimin, with his natural warmth, responds not with words, but with an infectious, cheerful aura. There is comfort. There is safety. There is intimacy that doesn't need to be declared. Amid the lively laughter of the other members, Jikook have their own rhythm. They are present together, yet focused on each other. The world can be noisy, cameras can be rolling, millions of eyes can be watching. For them, the moment remains simple. Two people who understand each other without explanation. Two smiles that always find their way back to each other. And perhaps that's why so many of us can't look away. Because what we see isn't just idle interaction, but small fragments of a relationship that grows slowly, consistently, and with feeling. Jungkook's endearing gaze isn't accidental. Jimin's brightness around him isn't without reason. Behind a live filled with laughter, there is a warmth that makes us believe again, that true closeness always shows, even when it's never spoken. And at this point, everything feels clearer. This is why Jikook are so deeply loved. Not because they constantly put their relationship on display, not because of deliberate grand gestures or statements made for public consumption. Quite the opposite. What makes them stay in our hearts is the way they show up for each other quietly, consistently, and without seeking recognition. While others may choose to emphasize closeness under bright spotlights, Jikook choose a gentler language, brief meaningful glances, small laughs that appear only in front of one person, or simple habits formed through time and trust. There's no need to prove anything. Their closeness speaks for itself, softly, yet honestly. A relationship like this feels real because it isn't performed, but felt. It grows from comfort, from the safety of being oneself, from a presence that doesn't demand but is always there. And maybe that's exactly why so many hearts are touched. We see something sincere, something unforced, something that reminds us that true closeness is never loud. Jikook don't make us fall in love through grand words, but through small, consistent moments. And in a world that's often too noisy with claims and proof, that kind of sincerity feels the rarest and the most precious. And maybe that's why we keep coming back. Keep watching. Keep waiting. Because behind the laughter, the lives, and episode after episode, we find something genuine. Thank you for being with us on Jikook Moments. If you feel the same warmth, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. See you in the next moment, where small things once again make our hearts flutter.